Yes, thank you, Annelies, for the invitation to be with you. So, my name is Philip Russell. I'm the Assistant Director of Sustainability in the Sustainable Golf team at the R&A. We are a governing body for the sport of golf all around the world, out with the US and Mexico, and we are also a major event organizer. So we organize the Open, so the oldest of the majors in men's professional golf. And I'll talk a little bit about today our collaboration as part of our sustainability strategy and commitment as an organization to some of the work that we've done around the staging of the Open in the last years, working very closely with our good friends at BlueWater, and how we've brought some new innovations to the table collectively to address the way that we interact with and think about water in the world of sport.
David, what is BlueWater, if you can describe it shortly?
Well, apart from being absolutely honoured by being able to join you, Annelies, and also to be sharing this moment with Philip from the R&A, BlueWater is a global company that works with delivering clean water access to people in their homes, at work, and also for public distribution at, for example, major events. And we've been working in a number of different arenas over the past few years, COVID notwithstanding, where it's been our great privilege to be able to offer event organizers and sporting arenas a business solution to delivering sustainable water and clean water to people in a way that doesn't cost them their bottom line. So one of the biggest problems with sustainability is that it has often been seen as an investment, and as a consequence of that, people see their profits going down the line. At BlueWater, we've developed a solution that enables companies actually to not see investment as something that is going to cost them money, but as something that will actually not only benefit their bottom line, but also benefits the planet at the end of the day.
And when did this collaboration amongst the two of you started? Can you start from the beginning? It's a few years now, I believe.
Yeah, so I can give a little bit of background there. So basically, for a number of years, we've been looking at our sustainability strategy for delivering the Open. So a major sporting event, we can have over 200,000 people on site. To give an example, before COVID, so in 2019, we had the 148th Open at Royal Portrush Golf Club in Northern Ireland. We had 237,750 people on site during the course of the championship. So to give an idea of the scale. So we have, and it's an ongoing process, looking at the impact and the legacy of this event. And one of the key things we wanted to address was our relationship with water, and connected with that, single-use plastic. And we've been historically reliant on single-use plastic water bottles for drinking water supply at the Open, for public, for players, for staff, for officials, volunteers, and obviously far from ideal in terms of the current awareness on these topics. So we were looking for a way to change that. We wanted to innovate. We wanted to completely rethink the way that we provided water on site. And we wanted to do it in a way that was pioneering and would really, we were aiming to reset the standard in terms of way that major events can approach this. So we were delighted to meet BlueWater. I think we met for the first time back in 2018, if memory serves me correctly, Dave. It instantly sort of struck quite a harmonic discussion in terms of, we were an event organizer, BlueWater is a solutions provider, and we saw the opportunity. So that was the start. And then in the run up to the 148th Open in 2019, we probably spent about 6 months planning, deliberating on building this project that would become the Open Water Initiative.
The Open Water Initiative. So
yes.
We had 2 editions now of the Open Water Initiative. I believe 148 and 149, which was this year instead of
Correct.
the year before. We all know why. What is the success of the Open Water Initiative? What happens? What are the results? Can you elaborate on that? Because
Absolutely.
it says in one of the golf business news that when the 156 golfing stars compete at the Royal St. George, they will contribute to a more sustainable world.
Absolutely.
Is that so?
Yes, it is. And I'll give a little bit more detail, then I'll hand over to Dave to talk a little bit about the technical solutions of actually what BlueWater delivered for us. But if I start from our perspective as the event operator, so we made a very clear ambition that we wanted to completely eliminate single-use plastic water bottles from our event. And to give you an idea of the volumes, historically we could be using over 100,000 single-use plastic water bottles during a typical open, so a pretty significant volume. So that was our starting point, and we said we need to get rid of all of those, and we need to deliver drinking water on site in a way that is innovative, sustainable, and gives people pure, healthy, chilled drinking water on site for free. So a big ambition. And we said we need a name for this project, and so we settled together on the Open Water Initiative. So in a nutshell, what we did was, using BlueWater's technology, which I'll let Dave talk about in a moment, we installed water stations hooked into the mains water infrastructure around the venue, providing unlimited, free, purified drinking water to everyone on site. Coupled with that, we then invited people pre-event to bring their own refillable water bottle. So a seismic change, if you like, rather than buy one and then use it and then that goes into the waste handling. Bring your own refillable water bottle and enjoy free purified water on site. And coupled with that, we then did, again, using some of BlueWater's technology, a stainless steel refillable bottle that was available on site to purchase. And of course, once you've got one of these, you can then use it all day, take it home, take it to the gym to work on the back of the event. And then we also did for the players themselves, obviously the very important stakeholders at the event. We did a very, very nice, as we call it, a players edition water bottle, which again, so using BlueWater's manufacturing technology, sort of best in class stainless steel insulated refillable bottles. So we did this at Portrush for the first time. This was the global launch of the project. And then just recently, a few weeks back, we delivered the project again at Royal St. George's Golf Club for the 149th Open. And we actually onboarded one of our patrons for that project, one of our very important partners, MasterCard, who took on the headline sponsorship of this project. But I'll hand over to Dave to talk a little bit about the solutions themselves, the water purification technology, the bottles, and we were certainly very grateful to have access to these brilliant innovations.
Thank you very much, Philip. So just to quickly build on what you've been talking about, our ambition at BlueWater obviously is to accelerate innovation within the water space at every single opportunity at the point of use for the customer, in terms of delivering the water in ways that they can absolutely have total peace of mind when it comes to the quality of the water they're drinking, that there's nothing in it that shouldn't be there, and there's nothing in it that could possibly prove any kind of harmful aspect to their day-to-day life. So whether they're drinking the water, whether they're washing the vegetables with the water, whether they're drinking a lovely cup of tea, or whether in fact they're showering with the water, because actually a lot of the contamination that is in the water today comprises chemicals, and those chemicals obviously we drink when we drink water, but they also actually are absorbed into our bodies when we shower. So we get a lot of the contamination, not just from drinking, but also from bathing in the water or washing our vegetables in it. So what we have tried to do is accelerate the innovation of our products from actually being products that clean water or purify the water that we drink, to also be a useful tool for events like the R&A to supply vast numbers of people high quality drinking water, and not only to serve it in an ambient way, in other words unchilled way, but also serve it to them chilled or unchilled. So we're trying to harness, because we believe it's very important to harness existing solutions. So innovation is not just about inventing a new product. For us at BlueWater, innovation is all about also harnessing existing innovation and applying it in new ways to solve specific problems. And that is very much what we have tried to deliver to the R&A through the various events that we have supported them with, as well as other organizations that we work with around the world, whether it's in sailing or marathons or e-racing. You know, we believe that there are solutions here and now, and we are demonstrating those solutions that enable event organizers to solve one of the biggest and most pressing problems of our time, which is plastics pollution.
And what's the relationship between the plastic solutions and water? Because you had is it just that the water will be in a single-use bottle, or how do I have to? What's the influence as well?
Maybe, and Dave, if I can just come in there. So one of the particular points for us as an event organizer and organizing our event, the Open Championship, the plastic pollution topic and the marine plastic pollution topic in particular really was something that we were very acutely aware of. And the reason for that is because our event is always played on what we call a links golf course, so a seaside golf course. And as we move around the UK, going to these most beautiful, historic links courses, the ocean is always there in the backdrop. And it's, it's the amphitheater, if you like, for the event. So when you're watching on TV, when you're watching there on site, you see the ocean in the background. And over the last few years, we, as a business, as members of the public, we'd all been aware now of the growing problem of marine plastic pollution. There'd been a lot of coverage, we'd all seen it, and about the scale of this problem. So we really knew we had to change this. We didn't want to be having this wonderful event next to the ocean, but then being intrinsically reliant on single-use plastic for our water supply. And we knew it was inefficient in that we're shipping these bottles around. It's a single-use product. It's not designed to be refilled. Inevitably, you err on the side of caution and order slightly more than you need so that you don't run out. So we knew we wanted to change it, and it was almost a philosophical perspective in that we're here next to the ocean. We need to do our part to change this, to make a difference. We have a unique platform. We've global reach in terms of getting that message out. And when we met BlueWater, we knew we found a willing collaborator who was bringing a best-in-class solution. So it was a perfect fit, if you like. And I've just put here, I thought it may be interesting for a few figures to throw into the mix. So when we did this in 2019, we completely eliminated. So we supplied 0 single-use plastic water bottles on site at the event. Now, over the course of the championship, and BlueWater's brilliant technology, they can track and record all the water that's vended through their stations. So a total of 61,500 litres of free purified water was vended on site at the 148th Open. That's an amazing quantity. Now, when you equate that into single-use plastic water bottles avoided or removed, that gives you 123,000 single-use plastic water bottles removed, avoided from the championship. Amazing figures and quantities, and we found that impacted us to hear that. So I think what we found so unique around this project is that the scale that it's operating on and the platform that it has to raise awareness, and as Dave said, to drive others to think about moving down this path.
And that's about the awareness. Is that because these are the complete elimination, 60,000 liters of purified water, 123,000 plastic bottles, amazing numbers. And then there's something that's a little bit harder to measure, which is the awareness. I mean, you know how many people go to the Open. There's people watching it from home. How can you measure or the impact on that level, on the awareness side?
Well, Dave, do you want to maybe speak a bit about festivals? I know BlueWater have done a lot on this in terms of the power of water to make people think differently about environmental issues more broadly. And I think we were very grateful to learn about this, from BlueWater, in terms of we all rely on water every day. It's, a fundamental of life. So if we start from there, maybe if you could talk a bit about that, and then I'll go into a little bit about the specifics of our reach as an event and our broadcast program.
Okay, so as a company that has embedded sustainability in our business mission, So it touches everything we do, it touches every way we think, and it touches every dynamic of a partnership that we have with organizations like the R&A, who have been absolutely stunning, number one, in listening to us. Actually, we first met in Amsterdam back in 2018, and who actually accepted that we could actually turn around and say, oh my God, do you want to deliver 230,000 people fresh drinking water over a 4-day period? And they were prepared to work with us hand in hand to try to find the way to do that in the most efficient way. Now, obviously, I think everyone knows that microplastics are just about everywhere. They're in the air we breathe, they're in the food we eat, and they're also very much in the water that we drink. And when we started this journey with the R&A, our overriding aim actually was not just about delivering clean water to everybody. It was actually to provide a working case study for how events organizations could take that major step to stop plastics ending up in our oceans. And let's face it, most of single-use plastic, most of the single-use plastic bottles that are produced every year, that like something like 1 million a minute, end up in our oceans and or landfill, and ultimately they end up in the food, the fish, and us on dry land. So we very much felt that our ambition with this project was to be able to show, first of all, the sporting world that there were solutions that were available to any organization that wants to make a big step forward in addressing problems of sustainability. And the R&A picked up that baton, picked up the R&A, picked up that baton, and literally have run a very successful race with it over the last 2 editions of the Open and some of their other activities around the world. But importantly, as you said, Annelies, the key thing here is how do you make sure that people buy into what we're asking them to do? Because they're turning up at a major event where historically they've just literally gone up to a bar or a counter and ordered a bottle of water in a plastic bottle without ever thinking about it. And we carried out a number of minor surveys during the Open, because actually it was a bit terrifying for us as a supplier to know that we were absolutely introducing a game-changing, as Philip put it, seismic attitude here, where people were being told, hey, you can't buy water as you normally buy it. It's not available. Bring your own bottle or buy one on site. So would people be happy? Would they hate us? Would they be disappointed? Would they be shocked? Would they be stunned? Would they walk away and never come back again? And quite the reverse. Every single person that I met and talked to bought into what was being trialed, and proven to be a success by the R&A at the 2 recent events. That's number one. Number two, I have to say, another way of measuring the event is the amount of press coverage that we achieved from it. Now, you could actually say that, okay, that was quite commercial, but actually the reality is that we were able to see how did the media pick up what we were doing in partnership with the R&A. And I have to say the pickup was absolutely amazing. You know, CNN ran stories about what was happening in the various golf courses during these 2 major events. Other major newspapers wrote article after article about it, and I'm absolutely convinced in my own mind that the R&A achieved a major breakthrough in being able to demonstrate that the public is very open to buying into new direction if they are given the reasons for why that step was taken. And the R&A has been, I have to say, extremely good at being able to demonstrate and show people why they've done what they've done and what have been the positive results from that action.
And have you been able to use, because I always refer to, you know, athletes like Roger Federer, Tiger Woods, and the reach that they have. I mean, if you only let them use their social media, they have a reach of millions. Is that something that is included in the Open Water Initiative, that they set something something about it?
Very much so, and the way that we approached this, and I think a key word that I'd throw in is sincerity, because as Dave said, we knew that the public consciousness around these issues was probably at an all-time high. 2018, 2019, there had been some major documentaries broadcast, certainly here in the UK, that had gone out about the problem of marine plastic pollution, and people knew we had to do something differently. So I think first of all, receiving an email pre-event, so you've got your ticket for the Open, before you arrive on site, receiving a note advising this project is going to be live and what can you do to support it. Bring your own refillable water bottle. We're not forcing you to buy anything. Bring your own refillable water bottle and enjoy on site unlimited free purified water and help all of us end this reliance on single-use plastic. Then coupled with that, as Annelies, as you say, use these high profile international sports people, these amazing ambassadors for this kind of work. And I mentioned earlier, we gave everyone playing in the Open, so all of the competitors got one of these, what we call the Players Edition bottles. So BlueWater very, very kindly sponsored the provision of these. Every player got one with their name laser engraved on the front of the bottle, and a beautiful gift when you're arriving this site, registering for the Open. For many golfers, a career-defining achievement just to play in this championship. So receiving a bottle like this with a little note about the project and then using this out on the golf course while you're competing. And of course, that's then captured on broadcast. So we also did some work. We briefed all our commentators. We went and explained to the TV crews about the project, what you're going to see differently this year. You're not going to see anyone drinking from single-use plastic water bottles, certainly not that we've provided. This is what you're going to see and why, and the message behind it. And to give you some idea of the reach, if we're a global event, if you put together all of our broadcast channels, the potential reach is about 600 million households. So we have an enormous opportunity to communicate internationally, and it's powerful. Even seeing something different like this, a refillable water bottle, and then we had material out on social media. We had interview content with some of the players themselves talking about it, and we let it go organically because people love these. Players take them, they want to tweet about it, post on their social media about it, take it away with them. And to Dave's point, in 2019, when we first did this, I think we really caught the crest of the interest in this topic, and the pickup was more than we could ever have hoped for. Because I think people just saw that it was a sincere project. It was complicated. It definitely wasn't easy for BlueWater or the R&A to build this together. The infrastructure required was substantial, but we made it work. And I think that the pickup that it got, the feedback that it got, was really been a delight for us as the project team to see that.
And maybe I would like to just add something to that. And I think the word that Philip has used, trust, is absolutely essential. There are so many companies and organizations out there that are greenwashing, frankly, at the present time, and trying to ride that crest of the wave that Philip was talking about. So you have to be able to show and demonstrate that you're not greenwashing. This is a real, concrete, tangible activity designed to deliver a specific result. And that specific result, as Philip mentioned, was back in 2019. Ending the need for over 100,000 single-use plastic bottles. And this year in 2021, although it was a scaled back organization, scaled back Open due to COVID, with approximately half the normal number of attendees, I can point out that the amount of water that was issued almost equaled that was issued in Portrush, Northern Ireland in 2019. So the journey very much is a long journey, and I think that's also important to stress here. It's not something you do as a one-off activity. It's something you really have to put your back and your mind behind, and also your heart. It's a heart, head, and hands type response to a very serious problem facing the planet.
I think it's the word that Philip also used, sincere. It needs to be sincere. But to get back to the greenwashing, there is a business model behind it. You mentioned yourself, Philip, MasterCard. joined this initiative. Can you explain a little bit the business model? Because you make a cost as, hey, you have to produce, you have to manufacture, so there's cost involved. And I remember you saying, David, at one of our earlier calls, it's a viable business generating model in a sustainable way. So can you elaborate on that a little bit, and then we wrap it up?
Yes, and I think the way that I frame this is under the title of a purpose-driven partnership, because we realized right from the start that there is going to be a cost to doing this. The bottles, these need to be manufactured. You know, these are some of the best refillable bottles in the world. They're stainless steel. There's no nasty ingredients in them. We're very, very careful in what we've built together. The water stations themselves, state-of-the-art technology. There's an installation cost. There's a transport logistics cost of bringing that in. Now, in 2019, we, the event organizer, covered those costs. We made it work because we knew that this is an important change that has to happen. Now, we've been delighted for this year's Open that one of our, as we refer to as patrons, it's in effect our top level of sponsor for the Open. So MasterCard, one of our patrons, came on board as the headline delivery partner for this project. Now, of course, there's a sponsorship agreement that goes with that. But critically, and coming back to the purpose-driven component, MasterCard have made very, very strong commitments to tackling climate change through their work on global reforestation. So MasterCard launched not long ago a project called the Priceless Planet Coalition with a very powerful commitment to plant 100 million trees in 5 years around the world. And together we said, well, what a fantastic initiative and opportunity to link this open water initiative with global tree planting. So this year on site at St. George's, every refillable bottle sold on site helped leverage funding for tree planting projects. And while the water continued to be free for distribution, we fitted tap and donate contactless modules so that people could, if they wanted to, for each time they use the machines, tap and donate to plant a tree. So I think we've kind of been in uncharted territory with this in finding A, about the sponsorship appetite for these kind of projects, and B, the opportunity to raise funding for real, tangible, demonstrable environmental projects that are recognized, certified, in this case, global tree planting. So absolutely, there's a business model in there. It's a very new way of thinking about things. I'll be completely honest in saying that it's much more complex in terms of understanding it and fully doing all of the accounting and making a clear picture of what the global impact is, but it works, and it's the way forward. And I think, to be honest, we're probably scratching the surface of the opportunities that exist here.
I think sorry, David.
Sorry, just to quickly add to Philip's comments there. Of course, it's absolutely important that we look at the entire cost of those kind of activities that we're doing in terms of reducing carbon footprint, in terms of reducing any other kind of pollution that may result from our activities to deliver an end product. Our machinery or innovation or technology is not cheap. It costs quite a lot of money to actually install one of our units. We have to be totally frank about that. But we believe that the trade-off benefits in terms of the cleanliness of the water being delivered, so people getting water from our machines are getting water that's completely free of all known contaminants around the world, from microplastics to lead to chemicals, pesticides, etc. And also in terms of the bottles that we deliver, I mean, this is completely 100% plastic free. The loop, for example, which everyone thinks, oh my God, that's plastic. It's not, it's silicon. It's environmentally friendly. So we go to great lengths to ensure as much as is humanly possible at any given moment to reduce our impact, negative impact on the environment.
Yeah. But if we go back, because looking at the upcoming symposium From the Future is Water, with the theme using the power of sport to make a sustainable and environmental impact, we can conclude that you use this power of this huge event to make an impact on single-use plastic, on water, And what I find very interesting, and I think we're going to elaborate on that during the symposium, is that you've created a partnership amongst the two of you, and then also in the next edition included other organizations where it becomes a win-win-win, because corporates already have a corporate social responsibility initiative. And if you can include that, what you said, Philip, sponsorship, funds raising, and a direct impact on the event itself, I think it's the way, like Philip described it, it's the way forward. And I think it's a great case that people within water can learn from, sport organizations can learn from, and we hopefully elaborate on this even more when we physically meet in Amsterdam on the 4th of November. Where we would like to hear more about it, have also questions from the audience, and have a panel discussion with peers in the industry who also created an interesting initiative around water and using the power of a sports event. Thank you so much, David and Philip.
Thank you, Annelies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't leave yet.